I'm with Paul Peterman, the managing director of Reddit. Super excited to be chatting with you today.
So at Reddit, I'm a senior managing director within our sales organization,
Mm-hmm.
working with some of the biggest brands and some of our biggest partnerships that we have, just helping them leverage the power of community.
It's such an incredible platform. I feel like I've been on Reddit forever, just like looking through the subreddits, seeing things that I love, being invested in like the communities that I feel like I am just naturally a part of. Like any subreddits that you just love.
Yeah, Data is Beautiful is one I really enjoy.
Okay. I'm a data guy. I love that.
Yeah, it's just data visualization. I love that. There's one called Find the Sniper, which is super fun, where
Okay.
it's not about snipers, but it's about a picture where there's something in the picture and you're trying to
like a
to
Where's
find it.
Waldo type thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of, but pictures that people put out there. So many millions of people, but I am in that too. Like
Yeah.
use Reddit to really understand what's next in AI. In terms of what attracted me to Reddit, really the opportunity that Reddit can be for everyone. And we're seeing that with our explosive user growth.
Yeah.
We're up to nearly 400 million
Wow.
weekly users.
Weekly
It's up
users.
43% year over year.
Wow.
380 million plus. The promise of Reddit and bringing this power of community to everybody is happening right in front
It's
of our eyes.
incredible. And I feel like if you look at it from like a sentiment analysis perspective, if you're looking at community building, like trying to understand what your brand needs to be without actually knowing what it should be, Reddit is the place to be. How are you working with brands? How are you having brands look at Reddit? I know that you just kind of started the advertising capability side, but how are you partnering with brands to help them leverage this platform more strategically and really dive into the data and insights that are provided there?
I think it starts with the insights on Reddit. I've been asked a lot of times this week, what's the best way to show up on the platform? It starts with the insights. We recently released something called Reddit Pro, Reddit Professional, and it brings the insights about what's popping, what people are talking about, what's going on with your brand on the platform, right into the hands of marketers. And so the best marketers are out there and they're finding really important nuggets and they're using that to inform their creative strategy, because Redditors, just like most audiences, if you put out advertising or marketing messages that are really relevant to them, they are all for it.
They're going to love it. Yeah.
You know, with some of the bigger brands, we can run point on that for them. But really for the longer tail of advertisers and marketers on the platform, there are tools now that you can use. One other thing that's interesting is for people, we recently released something, I don't know if you've seen it, called Reddit Answers.
I did. Yeah, I did see Reddit Answers. Yeah.
So Reddit Answers, you can, it's in the US today, is expanding to other markets. But Reddit Answers is a place you can go. It's an AI-powered service that puts the best of Reddit right at users' fingertips.
Oh, wow.
So you can ask it any question, like what's the best place for fish tacos in Miami Beach?
Yeah.
And you're going to
Which is where we are, by the way. We're in Miami Beach.
But the other thing about Reddit Answers is because it's basically taking the best of what's on the platform, we actually see a lot of brands leveraging Reddit Answers to understand what people are saying too. So we, in the last year, we've come out with so many tools that you can do that with.
I mean, it's why, like my background, I started my career at Nielsen, so I'm all data forward, all analytics forward. I talk a lot about this with people. We present ourselves one way, maybe we think about ourselves in a different way, and it's the same thing with brands. They think they're one way, but everybody else might think they're another way. How do you close that gap? And it seems like Reddit is the platform to be on to truly understand what people are thinking about you and how they're consuming your content, and whether they like it or they don't, because they're not afraid to say how they actually feel on a platform like Reddit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great playground, is the way I describe it, to understand. We actually see quite a few brands using it as a testing ground before they release a product.
For like their creative strategy, the product strategy.
And then it's going to inform your strategy. Today's conversations on Reddit or tomorrow's search results and what's happening tomorrow, they use it as a good testing ground. And it's really interesting because just looking at top line sentiment analysis sometimes points you in the wrong direction. I'll give you an example. I saw a post today. It was about a video game. I won't say which one. And somebody said, I hate this game. And the second sentence in the post was, I play it every day. That's how people really talk. You know, I love this car I have. Here's one thing I hate about it. And as a brand, that may be your best customer. But understanding how they feel, and now you communicate in a way that's meaningful to them and real.
It's like you can't see sentiment in isolation. You have to see it holistically. What's really interesting too is like looking at it from the creator perspective. We look at platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Snap. The definition of a creator is different everywhere. I've posted on Reddit. I have friends who posted on Reddit. I haven't owned a subreddit, but like, how do you position creators? How do you look at monetization? And how can a creator, whether they are a big creator on other platforms or even just a smaller creator who's interested in being here, show up?
I think it's interesting because we talk about creators, and the word that comes to my mind is influence. So
absolutely.
Oftentimes influence gets conflated with it's only influencers online, but there's different types of influence. And so on Reddit, it's just completely different, as you know. The community is the influencer. That doesn't mean an individual Redditor isn't super respected on particular topics. In fact, if you are in specific communities, like some of the AI communities or communities communities around, you know, which laptop to buy or
Yeah.
which insurance policy is best for your family. So it's less about an individual person. It's more about giving them the freedom to express themselves.
Okay.
And then the other part about the platform, which is just built in and always has been with Reddit, is every piece of content is upvoted and downvoted.
Yeah.
So
I've had my fair share of downvotes.
yeah, and you know, some people struggle with that because they're looking for you to be a good member of the community. If you come in and you're too snarky or something like that,
Yeah.
you're going to get downvoted, even if what you're saying is somewhat valid. So, you know, what we're focused on is providing more and more tools to people to be able to express themselves in any way that they want, whether it's video, AMAs. That influence that happens on the platform kind of happens naturally. So it's a little bit different. And in terms of like creator economy, that's not something that is prevalent on Reddit today, but it's things that we're thinking about, like how do we continue to empower people?
The community is what is the influence. It's not the individual. It's the collective thinking of this group of people that cares for this thing or enjoys this topic. Just looking at it holistically, when you think of the future of Reddit, what are you most excited about? Whether it's the creators and community, whether it's the sentiment analysis, whether it's building advertising on the platform, what is really exciting you about Reddit and over the next year or two or even 5 that you're excited to see?
I would say it's 2 things. First, from a user growth and experience perspective, we have a big audience, but there's so much opportunity ahead of us because Reddit is really for anyone. International opportunity, bringing more experiences like Reddit Answers. And then the second piece is really providing something fairly unique for brands and for marketers. Reddit brings unique audiences. Nearly 50% of Redditors, 40+% of Redditors don't use TikTok. According to ComScore, 69% of Gen Z in the US uses Reddit. We reach 61% of millennials. So you might have an influencer strategy that's working really well on TikTok, but then creating a strategy on Reddit can actually help you not just reach the customers that you're used to reaching, but find new customers. Reddit is the #1 trusted place for product and brand recommendations. But what's interesting is that 43% of recommendations on Reddit are what we call product redirects. So it's something where somebody is getting referred and recommended something they didn't expect.
Yeah.
And if you play pickleball and you go ask for a recommendation and you're like, I'm between these 2 paddles, the community might come out and say, actually, for your skill set, this is the paddle you have to have.
Something you've never heard of before.
And that is how you expand your market. It's how you take market share. And it's brands that really understand that are walking away with a massive competitive advantage.
Yeah, it's so interesting the way that you're talking about this because I feel like at the core of all social or interest-based media, it's community. And how I look at Reddit, if I'm the NBA, and I see our sports highlights or our Minnesota Timberwolves, I know people in that group are going to love what I have to say, and that is the community that isn't just going to ride for me, but it's going to die for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so unique and interesting about Reddit. But yeah, Paul, thank you so much for taking the time and making it possible at Possible. Obviously, you're not paying me to say this, but like, I'm going to say it anyway.
Well, thanks for visiting our Reddit space at Possible. We have our
made my Snoovatar.
Snoo, that you can go and create something custom here. And great to see you.
Thank you so much.